President Trump signing a $1.3 trillion omnibus spending bill, despite threatening to veto that same legislation. His message to Congress, quote, "I will never sign another bill like this again." Joining me now with a reaction to that and much more, former Trump campaign deputy campaign manager, David Bossie. All right, David, I mean, what is your take on the president signing this huge spending bill?
It's a fundamental failure of leadership in Congress. What they sent this president is tantamount to the opposite of what this Republican president got elected on, what the majorities in the House and Senate got elected on. And it is unbelievable that they put him in this situation. And quite honestly, there's a little bit of bad effort by the staff at the White House as well, I think.
Now that's very interesting. Now, I want to talk about that, but, you know, we've got 2,232 pages. The geniuses passed this bill, and no one, the president said, had time to read it. Now, what's interesting is it would give you less than 1 minute per page to read it from the time it came out.
It's so outrageous.
Okay, so speaking of that, if no one really had much of a chance to read it, the people who serve him in the White House, his staff, could have said to him, you know, the $1.6 billion for the wall, you can't do any of the prototypes. You have to do a drone.
Look, I believe it's section 230 of this bill talks about the wall, and it's secondary fencing. Secondary fencing,
what does that mean?
Which is chain link fence. This is not a wall. This is no money for the president's initiative to build a wall, to secure America, to stop the drugs, to stop the bad guys from getting into this country. This is the opposite of what he ran on, and this Republican leadership in the Congress did him a disservice by forcing him to sign this really bad bill.
But, you know, this president, continues to keep moving in spite of this. What leverage does he have? I mean, we've seen him do things like, you know, the tariffs and the deregulation and all the other stuff he's done. But McConnell and Ryan, they actually lied when they said, we're going to get that wall and we're going to get $15 billion. Why? Why did they buckle?
Well, first of all, the process here was broken in Congress. Only 4 people, really, the leaders in the House and the Senate, the 2 leaders, Democrat and Republican, is who wrote this bill, and their staffs. No one else had a process.
So
the senators in Congress with no amendments, no debate. This was all just done behind. This is what we ran against.
And he can't stop that because he doesn't run Congress.
He doesn't run Congress. This is a failure in the leadership in the House and Senate.
Well, you know what? I hope that my viewers in Kentucky and Wisconsin and everywhere else start to understand that this kind of nonsense is going to continue. It's almost like they're in the same party, the Republicans and Democrats.
The swamp won on this one. That's the problem. This president is so dedicated to fixing these problems, to doing what is right for our defense, for our national defense, to build our depleted military up and give them the proper training and armament and planes and ships that they need. That Barack Obama broke our military. It takes money to fix it. But what this is to give the Democrats unfettered spending in return for that, and it is
and a win
outrageous
for the next election. Very quickly, what frustrates me is if it's McCabe and it's McConnell and it's Ryan, who in the White House talks to them so we can go back to the president and say, Mr. President, you can't read 2,232 pages.
That's right.
No,
it's somebody's responsibility.
Yeah, and you know what? That person needs to be called to task. You agree?
I do.
Okay. David Bossie, thanks so much. And media reporter for The Hill, Joe Concha, is here live. We're going to talk about this week's most outrageous statements. You can't miss that one. But next, it's that time. The panel is on deck and ready to debate.